Kalshi Markets Edge on the early line for a Thursday. Invest your money, invest wisely. The biggest games, the biggest topics. We have the people covered. I mean, by we, it's Donnie Rightside, it's Joe Ranier, it's a SportsGrid network. And away we go, Joe. Half hour of action, a half hour of fun.
Yeah, gonna be a good time here, and it starts tonight, Donnie, with a Game 6 in the NBA playoffs, and well, we got one more game, I guess, in the NHL before the Stanley Cup Finals will take center stage.
How about that, as we like to say? Action and energy, that's what we provide, and hopefully the NBA. For me, sometimes, look, I have the Thunder tonight, but I would love to see the Thunder get beat by 2 points, give me a game number 7, because that's a lot of fun to talk about with two really good franchises going toe-to-toe. But you know what else we got to talk about, Joe? The hot topics that we love. Insider information. Been around since, I don't know, time immemorial, as we like to say, because that's how you make the real money. Hey, what's a guarantee? That quarterback's not going to play tonight. I know about it. Nobody else does. Let's switch it over to the markets, Joe. Hey, I know that the government's going to give a contract to NVIDIA here for chips, and I want to get in early because that means that stock price is going to go through the roof. How about Dustin Gawker with a tweet here? Google employee charged with using insider information to make a milli on Poly Market, Joe. That's the American way.
So it sounds a lot like Wall Street to me, Donnie. I mean, call me crazy. But yeah, feels like this has been going on for quite a while here, and not just in prediction markets, but most markets, Donnie, tend to have this issue. Do they not, or am I missing something?
And you know what else we're missing, too? The greed of the people out here doing this. Because you know as well as I do, Joe, hey, look, I got a good thing here. Let me throw a grand or two on that. Goes below the belt. I pick up a grand or two and put it in my pocket. We always got to get greedy by going, I got to make $1 million here. Watch this. And they go, how did this guy time this exactly correct when he never is on this site here and all of a sudden just made $1 million? Joe, they will get you every single time, no?
Yeah, no, they absolutely will, Donnie. And that's, not every market is worth investing in.
Correct.
That's the beauty of this. You don't have to get involved in certain markets. You can just stay in a certain lane, a certain niche, and voila, you should be good to go.
Like, hey, this account never was in our database before, and they just put a monster parlay on the under on Terry Rozier. Oh, look at that. Rozier got injured a few minutes into the game. Yeah, that's not going to stick out like a sore thumb here. So let's get to some of the action tonight, Joe, that will be sticking out, which includes I can call them that, OKC Thunder taking on the San Antonio Spurs. You go to the Kalshi Marketplace to win this game outright, Joe. There's a 59% chance that San Antonio does that. If you think the Spurs will win this game outright, Joe, a $100 investment pays back $167. But for me, I'm taking the 3.5 points in this game. So the no contract on San Antonio covering it, $100 investment would pay back $197. Go OKC.
OKC tonight with a chance to close it. Will San Antonio bounce back at home? A lot of questions here, Donnie, but the big question is, which way is the market going to go? Because we have not seen a lot of movement in either the total or the side, Donnie, and we saw a lot of movement through the first 5 games. But now we're kind of frozen at the 3.5 and the 219 and a half mark. But it is correlated to me. If you like San Antonio to win, I would bet the under, because their path clearly for victory against this team is by playing defense, dominating the boards, and limiting the free throws and all of the easy buckets for OKC. If they do that, Donnie, this thing is flying under the 219.5 here tonight.
And SGA usually guaranteed to score 30 points, 32 points, 33 points. If you feel he gets over 29.5, which means 30 points, $100 investment would pay back $186 here. Let's flip it over to the WNBA tonight. Doubleheaders we talked about. Game number 1 tonight, Joe, 8 p.m. start. That's the Aces taking on the Wings. If we go to the Kalshi Marketplace, chances to win this game. Las Vegas on the road, they're sitting at 62%. Dallas at 38%. If you feel that Vegas can go on the road and cover the 5.5-point spread, a $100 investment does have plus money, and the payback is $218 back. How about tonight, Joe? Aces versus the Wings.
Yeah, listen, Dallas has become pretty fun to watch here. It's not like they don't have
Yeah.
talent on this team, but the Aces are the defending champs, and that comes with a lot of experience here. It's in Arlington here, so the home fans will be there for Dallas. But I think points are coming. I think this is going to be a fun one. Dallas is a team that can drop 90 on you, no problem. Even if you're the Aces, I would look for an over in this spot here tonight.
If you want to take a look at a player prop there, Paige Beckers to go over 19.5 points, $100 investment, Joe, does pay back 197. Or maybe you want to go a little AZ FUD action. She's listed at 10 plus points here, so double digits would get you paid there. Nightcap here, maybe the most popular team in the WNBA is going to take on the Valkyries. That's the Indiana Fever. If we take a look live right now in the Kalshi Marketplace, how about that? Golden State, Joe, with a 51% chance to win this game outright. Indiana at 49%. Fever, Valkyries, West Coast action tonight.
Yeah, your first reaction would be, oh, well, it's Caitlin Clark. You should be looking at the over, but I'm actually looking at the under. The Valkyries have done a pretty good job here of limiting the Fever and Caitlin Clark when they've played her in the past. Both these teams are able to score, but I think maybe defense is going to be on the table here tonight, this late one. So I'm looking at the under with the Valkyries and the Fever.
Caitlin Clark over 19.5 points tonight. If you take a look, that yes contract is 52 cents. Show $100 investment on Clark to get 20. That would pay back $193. The Cubbies celebrate good times. Come on. They actually won a baseball game yesterday, which is something they haven't done much over in the past few weeks. But today, their prize is to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates and Paul Skeens. We go to the Kalshi Marketplace. The chance for Pittsburgh to win this game listed at 61%. The contract for them to win this game is 62 cents, which means a $100 investment pays back $162 if Skeens and the Pirates pick up the W today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Skeens is on, Skeens is great. We know this, right? But the problem is Skeens got a couple of back-to-back rough outings here. And will that continue against the Cubs team, who is coming off a ridiculous 10-game losing streak, finally wins a game last night here? The problem is, Donnie, we've seen teams on long losing streaks. They finally get a win. It's usually followed up with another win here. I think the Cubs, it's going to be a good one, but the bullpens are going to decide this one, and I don't trust Pittsburgh. So I think the Cubs can get another one at a pretty good price here.
Yeah, lumped up, by the way. It looks like two of his past 6 games. And by the way, April 24th, 7 Ks. April 30th, Joe, 9 Ks. May 6th, 7 Ks. May 12th, 10 Ks. May 17th, 7 Ks. So you look today, his number listed on the Kalshi Marketplace in player props for strikeouts is 6.5 at 50 cents, which means $100 investment pays back $200. But his last game against the Blue Jays, Joe, 5 innings pitched, only 2 strikeouts. Maybe he bounces back today, but that's his number listed for Paul Skeens today. The Astros and the Rangers, Joe, AL West, both of these teams under 500, both of these teams underwhelming, but they're going to play today. The Texas Rangers are the favorites here on the Kalshi Marketplace with a 56% chance to win this game. The yes contract on them winning listed at 57 cents, Joe, so a $100 investment would pay back $176 if the Texas Rangers knock off the Houston Astros today.
Yeah, and listen, I don't know where the runs are coming. You got Arrighetti and Evaldi on the mound, both power pitchers. We just kind of watched DeGrom handle it last night there, and 7.5 is the total in this one, Donnie. We just watched these guys a couple of weeks ago battle these lineups, and both were dominant, and I see that happening again here. I think the under is the way to look in this game.
Yeah, take a look, too. If you're just looking at a team total, let's just say, and you want some plus money, look at the Texas Rangers over 3.5 runs scored. You take out the no contract there, Joe. It's currently listed at 48 cents, which means a $100 investment will pay back $209 if the Rangers don't score 4 runs in this Major League Baseball game. Houston to do the same, under 3.5. That's listed a little bit higher at a no contract of 55 cents. More action on the way. Prediction markets right here on the early line.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, like, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy, the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights. Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There's all these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Now, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
That's the question. Hopefully every fucking day. Little NFL news and notes on PME on TEL. It is your boy DRS along with Joe Ranieri. Let's get to it here. I got some video because one of the hottest topics in the offseason, and it seems like it's centered around the Patriots. Well, it's A.J. Brown or Diana Rossini and their head coach, Mike Vrabel. Well, Mike Vrabel was at the podium yesterday answering questions on what's the deal with him and the Patriots here. Let's hear from him.
I mean, I can only tell you I'm going to be there today, and I can't tell you anything other than I'm going to be out there today in full force. And I mean that because, who knows what's going to come up. I'm not even, anything could happen. And so I'm going to focus on today. But in the excitement that we've had and that we've built so far, and the conditioning that we've tried to incorporate into our practices and the weightlifting and all the things that are critical.
I need a question asked, Joe. Does he have a ring on his finger at this point? And I'm not going to get into like the personal lives, but sometimes you're with a partner, like you just can't escape, and like I'm going to lose my house if we get divorced and I can't afford it. If she, I'm talking about the wife of Vrabel, gets divorced, she gets half of everything, which is a lot here. How does their marriage still work, by the way?
Listen, Donnie, you don't know what's going on in that situation with there. All I know is the season can't get here fast enough for him, I would imagine. Hurry up and get back to football, and having to start answering questions about A.J. Brown, the new receiver that you just traded for here, and how he's going to get in the offense, because this has got to be brutal for him and the rest of the organization.
And like on top of it too, like infidelity goes on in marriages and, all the time, every single day. But a couple people usually know about it, not hundreds of millions of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, Vrabel and his wife. Oh, that's the wife, right? It's unbelievable how it still works. And who knows if it will work, but it's amazing that it's actually lasted this long at this point. Now, Drake May, how thick is Drake May, Joe? Check it out.
Follow up, Butchie's real question. Are you thicker with 2 C's? Is that the way you're supposed to say it? Is that kind of like the hip thing? Are you thicker with 2 C's? Is that how it's supposed to be? Or
I think that's pause, if that's anything. I think that's not the way to put it, but
do you better? Do you feel conditioned as far as another year of experience, just your body getting it ready for this?
I think that's just part of having a long season and be able to take some time off and come back into it and get your body right for the beginning of the season. And I think it's kind of how the NFL works, a long season, and you tend to lose some muscle or lose some weight as the season goes on. You try to maintain that, and that's what you try to build, during the offseason and maintain during the season.
Joe, another grown man asking how thick you are. What's your response?
Yeah, no. 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 I mean, it's just reporting has changed, Donnie, over the years. It really has. And the fact that there was an answer being given is even crazier.
Yeah. A bit of Lamar Jackson action here. By the way, it's always been Harbaugh in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Now it isn't. Let's hear from Lamar.
Does it feel that way to you?
Oh, yeah, I'll say yes because new coach, new OC, different new guys in positions. So everything is just new, basically, size upstairs, But coaching staff is just new, and I can say it's a breath of fresh air because everything is just new. That's all.
Joe, is Lamar Jackson an admiral in the Navy? What did I miss here? What is going on?
I don't know, Donnie. It's every time I can't understand a word he's saying. It's just that Lamar is he's a strange cat, man. But again, we're at the point with Lamar, Donnie, and you nailed it earlier. Like, win a playoff game, dude. Just win a playoff game. You got all this upheaval. You got a new coach, everything you wanted. So what's the excuse going to be if you don't win a playoff game this year?
How about this from Harbaugh to Harbaugh here, talking about why his superstar quarterback had to miss an OTA because he wanted to watch his girlfriend in a concert. How about this one?
For phase 2 stuff, we need to Justin Herbert out there. Is he here today?
Yes.
Excited to have him back.
So excited. And I was happy. We went to support Madison on her music tour. Madison supports him at the football games, and he told me he wasn't going to be here for those 2 weeks. And my first reaction was, "Do you need a ride to the airport?"
I'm telling you, I would love to play for him. He is a maniac, but you always know, like, if you put in the work and you're doing the right things, he always has your back, man. He'd be a great coach to play for.
I agree. And listen, it's maniac. Every hard pressed to find somebody that does not like playing for one of those brothers. So, except for Lamar, he didn't like one of them very much. But I agree. He better win a game though at some point. He's another one that we got to get. That quarterback of yours, he better win a playoff game at some point as well.
By the way, perfect segue here. Remember the argument, should you take Tua or should you take another quarterback with his name, Mr. Herbert? Well, how about this? Kevin Stefanski now talking about Tua because Tua's no longer in Miami, but Tua is in Atlanta.
Well, I think it's the most important trait at the position, as we've always talked about. Some guys get better at it with tweaks to how they throw the ball, tweaks to how they their lower body, those type of things. But there is an innate ability and all of our guys have this, all of our quarterbacks have this, to be able to let the ball go and it's going where you want it to go. And not to say that you're not going to miss throws in this profession, you're going to miss throws, but all of our guys possess that innate quality of letting it go and knowing where they want it to go. But yeah, I think Tua just in his career, as you've seen, just has that innate God-given ability.
Can Tua get the relaxation he needs and plays in a dome? Could he have a resurgence, Joe, of his career, or you get what you get with Tua? Maybe he looks good, maybe he doesn't look good, but you know what? He's probably going to be injured.
Absolutely going to be injured, Donnie. I think maybe that might be the safest thing that we see here across the board. And listen, I wish the guy luck, but I just think the injuries and where we're at this point in his career, you are what you are and your record says you are, Donnie, right? And you're a quarterback that without the perfect system is likely going to get hurt and not win a lot of games that matter.
Most of the time, Joe, they tell you it's cheaper to keep her. Well, just use this in NFL terms. It wasn't cheaper to keep her. Almost $100 million in cap space just to tell a player, please go away. That tells you a lot, people. You know what we're going to tell you? A lot more on TEL and PME. Coming up after this short break. Final segment here today on Prediction Markets Edge on the early line. Board DRS along with Joe Ranieri. And as you know, on the early line, we like to fade the public here. But now, since we're dealing with markets, Joe, how about a little fade the market? Get your votes in, get your votes in, get your votes in. We ask people, vote now. What market do you want to see on PME? Which now says some wanted the World Cup, some wanted Bitcoin. Nobody wanted to talk about inflation. Good, because I don't like inflation. And most people wanted to talk about President Trump, Joe. How do you feel like that? We got odds to talk about today on this. Good stuff.
Let's go, Donnie. It should be an interesting... Well, you got a lot of things going on here with the president in the sports world. Won't he show up at the Knicks game? We got a pretty big celebration with UFC coming up at the White House, so I'm all for it.
Now, help me out with this one, because I do need help. And sometimes you look at the markets and say, well, the market's going to dictate what we're hearing here. Donald Trump is going to have an event at the White House, which is, again, for the 250 celebration coming up. But technically, this is going to take place midway through the month of June. It's UFC 329 on the lawn of the White House where Donald Trump lives. Yep. He's really good friends with Dana White. You see him multiple times a year showing up in arenas, whether it's in Newark or whether it's in Florida. Donald Trump likes the UFC and goes. So I'm led to believe, Joe, that it's only a 17.9% chance that Donald Trump attends UFC 329, which is in his backyard. Joe, $100 investment pays back $556. How is he not going to be in attendance for this?
I have no idea. I mean, since him and Dana White kind of co-produced this whole thing and put it all together, I have no idea why he would not be here when he's at just about everything else. So unless something else, I don't get it. I think he'll be there.
Let me see. We're at UFC 320. Let me just do because we're live, but I want to do a little bit of quick research on this one right now. Let me see. But by the way, hold on. July 11th, 2026 is actually 329 UFC, Joe. So it's not the White House one. This one is in Vegas. So therefore, that's why it's a little bit lower. But Trump owns Vegas
that
as well.
Makes a lot more sense.
I'd still say he's going, Joe.
Is it 329 is going to be what, after it or before it?
I'm seeing because it says here UFC 329, July 11, 2026, T-Mobile Arena, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. That's what I'm seeing right here.
Oh, that's the Holloway. Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah. Absolutely, he'll be there. That's a return of Conor
McGregor. Yes,
McGregor too. He'll be there. Yes.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
He'll be there.
What will Donald Trump say this week on the Kalshi Marketplace here? So, Trump likes to talk to the media here through press conferences or not. There's a lot of stuff, Joe, listed at 99%. Why? Because it's not like Victor Wembanyama skipping his chances to talk in front of the mic. Trump loves to talk in front of the mic and says a ton. But some things a little bit down lower, Joe, like percentage-wise, 65%. He mentions Melania. 61%, he mentions the term 50,000. 61% that he mentions Bibi Netanyahu, Joe. You can go anywhere with Trump because he does say a lot, and you can bet on a lot as well here.
You can bet on a lot of these different markets here, Donnie, and likely have no issue cashing multiple tickets here across the board. So some of these markets, though, priced at you can't even bet on. Even the no markets, there's no value in it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of the old faithful sayings that you can go with that will apply here at this event.
Yes, 61 cent to the yes, Joe, here. Contract on. He mentions Sleepy Joe, one of his favorite terms here.
Yes.
So you can get down on a lot on the Kalshi Marketplace, but also Time Magazine, Person of the Year 2026. If we line up the favorite, who is it? President Donald Trump, currently trading here at a 24% chance as a slight favorite over who? Zoran Mamdani, mayor of New York City, Joe. What do we feel about this?
Yeah, that's, I guess, again, this is all, I hate these markets, Donnie, because they're already in many aspects predetermined and people know. To me, this is a market where follow it. Just keep an eye on this market. When you start to see it creep up, Donnie, towards one person, one way or the other, Yeah, that's when you know that the information is readily available to one group.
Alyssa Liu at 8% here, took the world by storm at the Olympics here. Or, Joe, does it even have to be a person? Because I'm looking at 11-cent contract to the yes.
Yep.
$100 investment pays back $9.10 on AI. And I don't mean Allen Iverson here, Joe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and it should be us, Donnie. I think
should be.
I think we should be on here
at least 1%
somewhere.
Contracts on both us. Right here. By the way, remember all the news about Bad Bunny? We don't know where he's at now, but he's at 6% as a chance, which means $100 investment pays back $16.67. Don't know if that's happening, but you know it is happening. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line. Back on a Friday. Make sure you join us then and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.